then starting off with barley grass.
Yes, Rob. Well, barley grass is a real problem, and obviously gets into the eyes and the wool of sheep, especially sheep.
Yeah, and pistils.
Yes, absolutely nasty things. But barley grass, most farmers at this stage see barley grass starting to have its seed head, and so they whip out with Roundup, which is all very good, and it will kill the barley grass. But what it does is actually opens up that patch of land which is absolutely full of barley grass seed from years gone by. So effectively they are actually promoting the growth of barley grass by killing that,
Totally
unwittingly killing that population there that's going to drop its seed on the ground and be a problem in the future. But when you open up the ground, as we know, when you cultivate the ground, all sorts of things come. So if you're going to do that, you've obviously identified the areas where it's in, and you've killed the grass. But in the autumn, whatever you do spray that soil with something like Nortron, ethofumicate, because it is residual.
Pre-emergence.
Well, it's a pre-emerge on top of the ground, and it's residual for about 10 weeks. And so with that open ground, you're promoting new strikes, and hopefully every single seed that's in the ground will strike then. Up it will come, and within 10 weeks, if it does, in sort of March, April, May, when there's a wee bit of moisture around, the Nortron on the soil surface will actually kill all those seeds. So it's an ongoing process to eliminate the seed burden within those areas. And farmers think, put the Roundup on, control the barley grass. No, in fact, you've actually stimulated the barley grass.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
What about pH and trace elements?
Yes, well, often one of the best things farmers can do is put lime on their soil, and there's so many things that are influenced by the pH in your soil. And one of the most expensive elements, of course, is phosphorus. People think that it is nitrogen, but it's not the most expensive. Phosphate is. And if your phosphate is locked up in your soil because your pH is out of sync, you can put some lime on. It then will start releasing some of that phosphate to you. Now that's some of the cheapest fertilizer that you can buy, and you need to be very mindful about what happens to the various elements when your pH drops below, say, about 5.7, and when it gets above 6.5. So within that range, I would say, by the look of the chart, your most of the elements are reasonably available to you. You start moving some, like manganese. If you start moving at the top end and getting things too sweet and getting your pH up too high, it will really start locking up manganese in certain crops, and crops like wheat and things like that. So it's a wee bit complex, but there is a mid line to take, and I would say round about, well, let's move it up, 5.8 to about 6.5, 6.7. That's where you want to be.
That's the ultimate.
Ultimate, to have most of the goodies in the soil available to you and not restricted or locked up.
Because I've heard of a figure, and I can't remember what it was, but it was colossal, the percentage of phosphate that's trapped and not being used.
Yes, Rob, there can be, and what actually happens when you, it's all about the cation exchange rate, which starts to get a wee bit technical.
Yeah, I think just quietly moving on.
We'll leave it at that point, yes, okay.
Yeah, there's a shortage of bees as well.
Yes, Rob, what's actually happening, because you know, we all know about Manuka honey and what's happening there. There's beehives being sent to the bush, and it's all about economics and so forth. But in saying that, there's also for likes of pollination of black currants, for pollination of carrots and radish crops. Some of the farmers are starting to grizzle now that there's not enough bees available for their white clover.
Oh no.
Really? So perhaps they might have to start paying for their bees for white clover. You pay for your bees for black currants, you pay for them for radish, and you pay for them for carrots.
Well, the beekeepers are going to go where there's a check, aren't they?
They are, and so you know, I would think you know, once upon a time it was the beekeepers actually gave the farmers honey for having the permanent bees on their place because of the clover. Times are changing.
Times are changing. That's fair comment. You're a great advocate of actually working very hard on your business, not for it.
Yes, well, farmers love working in their business, and they get up and they let the dogs off every morning, and they look at the sheep and they run around and They smell the roses and they smell the clover and they look at the sunshine and think, well, great, I'm going to spend the whole day out on the farm and it's just glorious. When it's southerly and sleeting and so forth, okay, they come indoors and do their bills. But what I'm really saying is each day farmers should analyse the use of their time and where it's best spent in terms of the big picture of the whole farm operation. And now, of course, with all these compliances and things, and we're almost having to turn into farm advisors come accountants as farmers, and we're having to actually get outside professional help in to help us fill out some of these things. Like we're doing an overseer thing at the moment for blessed ECAN, bless their hearts, putting the pressure on for a water right. So, you know, there's all sorts of things. And so farmers really have to wake up, go out, let the dog off, have a look round, think, now, where is my time best spent today? I'm valuable. I'm the manager, so I should start managing. Right. It's very nice to do the easy jobs and sit in a tractor cab and listen to the radio, enjoy the air conditioning.
Good point. Let's look back over the past year. Been an interesting one.
Well, it has. It's been a huge challenge for cropping farmers, and right from the time when they had their silos full of grain and couldn't sell them, and then the reduction in contract prices for grain as such, which is such a staple part of the arable industry, especially wheat. And so it's starting to dribble out, but at relatively very, very low values. And so the implications of the cash flow and the cash amount are huge. Farmers have looked at clover and other crops that are, and embraced them, peas and all sorts of things, brassicas, and they've been very resilient and filled up their paddocks. And well done, guys. Well
done, you too. Thank you very much, and have a great Christmas, buddy, and thank you for your advice over yet another year. You're an absolute legend.